Stitchers. I'm Amy, I'm the Globetrotting Stitcher, and it's really great to be back with you again today. We hope that you've all been doing well. We hope that you're enjoying your stitching. If you're just finding us for the first time, this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch, so welcome. We hope you enjoy what we're doing here. And if you have visited with us before, welcome back. Thanks so much for sharing some of your time with us today. We hope you have a great time and you enjoy seeing what we've been working on. So I wanted to just talk really quickly about our last video and just, we always enjoy the comments that we get on our videos and the interactions with you, but we had so many really great comments on our last video that I wanted to talk about really briefly and just share a few of those with you. Just a couple of things that we found really kind of funny and amusing. So Ida Cole had suggested a new screen name for Gary because I am off and traveling so often these days that she said his screen name should be Home Alone Gary, which I thought was kind of funny. We also had several of you who took note of the fact that in the action figure vignette that Gary had out off to the side here last week, Batman appeared to be drinking a beer and setting a very questionable example for the impressionable young Robin. So we thought that was quite funny, and you were quite right. Batman was imbibing. It's okay. Robin is older than he appears. And then I also wanted to say a particular thank you. A number of you who are experienced sewists or quilters had either asked questions or made recommendations or just shared encouraging words on my my zombie or my Frankenstein project bag that didn't quite turn out as good as I had hoped it would, but I still loved it and thought it was beautiful. But I wanted to say thank you because I found all of that really, really helpful and got some really great solutions. So there were some really great questions. There were just to kind of clarify what's going on. There were also several of you who just encouraged me that you've been sewing for a long time and that particular technique with the interfacing doesn't work well for you either, or that you've been sewing for many years and your points don't turn out perfectly either. And so it was just really nice to have that reassurance of, you know what, we're making beautiful handmade things and it's a journey and we just keep getting better at it. And so it's okay if it's not perfect. There were also some really good suggestions on where to start quilting as far as on the panel, switching directions as far as the seams of the quilting that I was doing. And then one of the most helpful things, a number of you had asked me, are you using a walking foot? And I wasn't. I didn't own a walking foot. And what was interesting about those comments and some of the questions that came in on that was that one of the things that I had been kind of thinking as I was watching what was happening with my sewing was, I would put my pieces together and I would pin and I would use clover clips and it would be all like perfectly squared. The fabric, it was like perfect when I would start sewing it on the machine or piecing. And by the time I would get to the end of my seam, my top fabric would be longer. I'd have more top fabric left than bottom fabric. And I was like, it almost seems like the bottom fabric is being pulled more quickly than the top fabric. And I don't understand that. It's all pinned together. This shouldn't be happening. And I didn't realize I needed a walking foot to correct that problem because it was pulling. And I was thinking, well, I've got you guys, I have a super basic sewing machine. It sews a straight line. It does the job, but this is truly like a beginner's sewing machine that my parents gifted to me when I was in high school or college. It's extremely basic. And so I was kind of wondering, do I just have a machine that's so basic that it's not meeting my needs? It's not giving me like all the tools in the toolbox that would really help me to get a better result. And that may be partially the case, but realizing that the walking foot was actually going to help correct that kind of pulling that I thought I was observing. I did go ahead and buy a walking foot. It arrived the other day and I put it on and it was like night and day. I could not believe what a big difference it made to the quilting and the seams that I was putting on my patchwork face or my patchwork panel. Still not perfect, but a significant improvement over my earlier, the earlier bag that I worked on. So I'm very excited about that. And I just wanted to say thank you, to those of you that have that experience and that knowledge and that just offered that freely and so kindly and wanting to be helpful. that's just one of the wonderful things about this community. And so I just wanted to say personally how much I appreciated you taking the time to share that, and to help me improve at doing something that I'm loving and making things even better than they already are. So thank you. So with that, just a couple of one or two other quick updates, and then we'll get into stitching. So Gary and I have a couple of exciting things coming up. So first of all, between now and the next time we film an update, we are celebrating a milestone anniversary, which I'm really excited. We have been married for, it will be 10 years here in a couple of weeks. And so we're still going strong. We still like each other. So 10 years is a big milestone.
10 años.
He keeps muttering things about buying me a tin gift to keep with tradition. So we'll see what that turns out to be. Anyway, so yeah, really excited to be celebrating a big milestone together. We are also getting ready to take a little trip. I think this video will actually probably post after we're home, so you'll be learning about it after it's all done probably. But we are going to take a long weekend away with some good friends of ours. We're heading down to the Grand Canyon for a little getaway for the long weekend. And I haven't been to the Grand Canyon since I was a toddler. Gary, have you ever been?
Never.
Never to the, okay.
Never been to the Grand Canyon.
So Gary's going to the Grand Canyon for the first time. It'll be almost like the first time for me. I only have the barest hints of memories from when I went as a child. So looking forward to that. We're going to take a whitewater rafting trip, which I'm super excited about. I think that's going to be really fun. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And then on the heels of that, I've got a lot of work travel coming up between now and the end of the year. You know, I keep thinking, oh, it's going to slow down. Things are going to wind up for the year. So first couple weeks of November, poor Gary is going to be on his own again. He's going to be home alone again while I'm heading back to East Africa for 2 weeks. And then traveling again the first week of December. So it's getting wild, people, but looking forward to kind of getting past that last trip in December, because I'm going to take a nice chunk of time off and actually just relax for a bit. So looking forward to that. All right, so let's get into stitching. That's what you guys are all here for. So I have a couple of finishes to share with you. No fully finished objects this time, I had hoped, but I'll explain what happened with that as we go through. So the first finish I have to show you is in my travel stitching. I have been working my way, as many of you know, through the Christmas Cheer Pin Pillows pack by Jeanette Douglas Designs. And the last time you visited us, I was stitching on the Merry Christmas pillow in that collection. I'm stitching all of these 2/2 on 36 Count Stars Hollow Blend Linen by R&R Reproductions, and I'm using all the called for flosses. So on the Merry Christmas pillow, the last time you saw it, I was pretty close to a finish, and we had talked about how I was probably going to get that wrapped up soon. So I had stitched all of the outside border of the design, quite a bit of the inside border. I had stitched the words Merry Christmas, and I was starting to work on the berry bowl. So here is my finish. Really, really like this. I think it turned out really fantastic. I actually like the finished design better than I thought I would. This wasn't one of my favorites in the pack, and so I'm really delighted to have it done and actually really like it as much as I do. So this one I had actually hoped to have as a fully finished object to share with you, because as I said in our last video, this is a piece that I'm planning to gift to someone. And I have decided that I want to frame it. And so I had ordered the frame, and it was supposed to arrive yesterday, and there was a shipping delay, and it's not arriving now until tomorrow. So I'm a little disappointed, because I wanted to have the fully finished version. I thought I could it's small enough that it'd be easy to get mounted and finished. So I had hoped that it would be done to show you today, especially because this may actually be gifted away before we have a chance to film our next update. So if that's the case, then we'll figure out how to get some video or some pictures of that fully finished piece so we can kind of plug those in next time, even if we no longer have the finish to show you. But this one is definitely roaring down toward its fully finished and its final purpose of being a gift. But at any rate, I'm really pleased with it. I love how it turned out, and really glad to be moving my way through this chart pack. Okay, The next, I also have one other finish to show you. Let me try and put this over here without wrinkling it up too badly. This is another one that in our last video I had hinted I thought was likely to reach a finish, but I wasn't sure that it would. And so I have also been stitching in my seasonal category of my rotation, the Bittersweet Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. Stitching all of these on a piece of 36 count, what's the fabric? Bee's Knees Linen by Seraphim, using the called for flosses. And I had already finished the crow and the fox, those two charts in this design pack. So this piece is the squirrel. The last time you saw it, it was a brand new start. I had stitched quite a bit of the outside border and had started working on the two sunflowers and stitching in the outline of the squirrel. And here is my finish. Yay, it's so cute. I just love it. I love how it turned out. I love these colors on this fabric. I know I have sung the praises of Seraphim fabrics before, but they're just lovely to stitch on, and I really enjoyed working on this piece. So this is another one that I was hoping to have all three or at least one of these designs fully finished to share with you this week. Ordered some frames for them and they did come in. And unfortunately, you know, I had been hoping with these that I could just use like a standard frame size for them. So we had measured this and all three of them because they're all the same size. And unfortunately, like a 3.5 by 5 frame was not going to be, it was going to be just a little bit too tight and wasn't going to look right. And so I went for a 4 by 6 and it was fine on the sides, but it was too, the vertical, there was too much of a gap and it just didn't look right in the frame. So I debated about, you know, is there some way I could make it work with some trim or something on the bottom? And it was just not going to look right. So sent those frames back. And now I need to kind of make a decision about whether I want to invest in a set of small custom frames for these or just finish them as pillows. So need to decide soon because I'd like to have this out on display for autumn before we move on to Christmas. But at any rate, for now, just enjoying this finish and really excited to have this set of charts done. So that is the squirrel, the last of the 3 that I've stitched in the Bittersweet Trio. Okay. So next up is whips. And just because of the finishes, we don't have as many whips to show you today, but the first one I'll show you is my weekend stitch. So those of you who visit with us on a regular basis know that every weekend I try to put in about 250 stitches on a full coverage piece. I am very slowly working on Butterfly Port Mauve by Heaven and Earth Designs, stitching this 2/1 on a piece of 28 count white easy grid Lugana, using a combination of half stitch and continental stitch. So the last time you saw this, we were starting to see more elements of the design emerge. And so there's a key that is hanging off of a curlicue vine kind of thing. And underneath that, I had been working in this section where this spray of flower buds, I think they're rosebuds, I'm not sure, was really starting to show up. And I've been working my way through that section and gradually getting more of that to show. I had stitched about 18,700 stitches when you saw it last. So I've put in roughly 800 stitches since then. And here is how it looks now. Now, I will be honest, you can't visually see a ton of difference. And actually, what I should have done, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this really quickly. I should have done this before filming this video. Here we go. This gives you a better sense of the design. There we go. So this is how it's looking right now. And basically, I've just continued to kind of fill in further down. So before, this third rosebud here was kind of starting to really emerge, but wasn't quite filled in all the way around yet. As you can see, all that is now done. We have a 4th bud down here that is really well filled in, and you know, it's framed in now with all of the beautiful pinks and reds. And we're continuing to get more and more of these pretty green leaves in that spray of buds really showing up and looking good. So one other thing I want to say about this before I finish talking about it is, as I was stitching on it yesterday, I realized that I'm really close now to finishing page 2. So I kind of have an unofficial mental goal to get at least 1 page a year done on this design. And so I was really excited to realize that it'll probably be another couple of rotations just because I stitch in loose diagonals. But I'm really, really close now to having page 2 completely finished on this. And so excited to be kind of nearing my own mental goal for at a minimum what I want to do on this on an annual basis. So that's where I am. All right, next we will go to Gary to talk about his 2 pieces.
All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is the one I actually did work on, and that is Women Who Behave. That is by Sue Hillis Designs, and it's stitched on 16 count black rock. I was going to say rot salt, but it's not rot, it's rock. Stitched on 16 count rock salt Ada by Color and Cotton with the called for DMC, which is many colors. I thought I was talking about Louis Armstrong, but I'm not. Anyway, so the last time you saw this, I believe I had less progress than I do now. I can't remember what it is what I did.
Do you want me to remind you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so the last time you saw this, I think I had finished the Women in Who, and then I had a kind of a start. I think I put all the letters out for Behave, but I didn't do the back stitch for that. Could be that I didn't have the whole word Behave. The picture that I put up when I said the last time you saw this will show you exactly where I was. Anyway, so this is where I am now. As you can see, I made the little pink. There's 2 tones of pink in there. That's a little, I don't know what you would call that, ribbon, I guess. That was, this whole thing is an exercise in learning how to do back stitch and quarter stitches, but I think I've already talked about quarter stitches, so I will speak no more of it. Anyway, this is, that is where I am. I got the R started, and we'll get the R finished, except for the back stitch, and I just started the A for it's Women Who Behave Rarely, so I'm working on Rarely. I'm going to finish Rarely, and then the word after that is Make, and then I'll have to slide it over because I'll have to put the word History, and then after I finish the word History, I'll go up and do the pirate's face. As I mentioned before, there are these little, I was going to say cufflinks, but they're not cufflinks. There's these little handcuffs that come with it. They seem too modern for it, so we're looking for some pirate charms. I don't know. We'll find some kind of pirate charm to put out there. So that's where we are with Women Who Behave. There'll be more done the next time you see it. The next one I'll talk to you about is Louis Armstrong. Now, again, I haven't done any work on this per se since the last one because I knew there was a problem and we had to wait for the time to figure out what the problem was. So the last time you saw it, I had started working on the very top part, and I only had like 1 section left, and then that would be done, and then another section down at the bottom, and page 1 would be done. But while I was sewing the top, or stitching, sorry, I didn't mean sewing, and I guess sewist is a word. Anyway, as I was working on it, I realized there was a problem. Something was too high or too low, and I stitched around it, and then I got to the next one, and it just didn't work. We had to take a whole bunch of stuff out. So here's where it is right now. I'll put a little square up to show you the part that we frogged. It wasn't a huge section, but we had to do some frogging on that one. So that's where we are with Louis Armstrong. Yeah, that's where we are. Anyway, so I'll be filling in the parts that's been fragged with the correct stitches, and then hopefully, it all depends because we're going to be in the Grand Canyon most of next week, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get page 1 of this done, but I'd hope to get the top of the trumpet finished before the next time we shoot. Anyway, so that's the status of Women Who Behave, and that other one I'm working on, you heard me say it earlier, so Louis Armstrong, that's the one. Anyway, so that's it.
Can I tell a funny story about you that happened this week?
Can I have some of my juice
You
box?
can have some of your juice box. Hydrate. So,
I think it's empty.
I think so.
All right.
So those of you who have been around for a while and have watched Gary's evolution as a stitcher have heard him say a number of times that he's not a stitcher. And this last week, he was talking about something that was completely unrelated to stitching. And he was just talking out some frustrations about how, every time you get something done here, you have to go back and undo it and do something different because people are not happy about whatever. But when he talked about the having to like go back and undo it, he said you have to frog it. And I don't think he even caught that he had talked about having to do this process and using the word frogging, which of course, as we all know, is very much a stitching word when it comes to talking about undoing work you've already done. And I didn't say anything at the time because he was frustrated and I didn't want to be humorous when he was frustrated. I just wanted to let him kind of talk out his frustration. But in my mind, I was like, ha ha, he said frogging.
Well, it's like Googling yourself. I'm sure everyone's Googled themselves every now and then. You just go, Anyway, that's Googling.
That's Googling when these things become verbs. So, all right, we have one last whip to show you before we move on. And that is my wild card piece. So I am stitching Cabin Fever. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection kit. And I am stitching this with the kit fabric and floss. And I wanted to mention, so I was watching one of Laura from Lala D Stitches. I was watching one of her recent videos, and she was talking about fabric that was in one of the kits that she's been working on, and she called it Devil Ada. And I laughed so hard to myself because I was just like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Like this Ada from this kit is Devil Ada. It's so stiff. So I thought that was hysterical. But anyway, so this is a really beautiful design, cabin in the woods on a lake. Really love it. The last time you saw it, I had made some good progress. So I had stitched, so I should say the chart is in 2 pages. And the last time I had worked on it, I had managed to stitch sky all the way across the top of the first page. So I passed the sort of the halfway point of the design across the top. I had stitched in a good bit of the tree canopy the last time and was kind of working my way down through that. And there is, on the left-hand side of the design, there's a birch tree that's kind of a prominent element in the design. And so I was starting to stitch in that trunk, and that was becoming increasingly, clear that there was a trunk that was taking shape there. So here's where it is right now. So I have put in close to 2,000 stitches on this in the last week, which I think is really great progress. And because a lot of it is the same colors and kind of filling in the same themes, it may not look like as much progress as it actually is. But let me tell you some of what I've done. So I have filled in more of this sky, working my way down up here. I've also filled in quite a bit more of the tree canopy all the way in through here, which is really great to kind of be working my way down there. I've also got in quite a bit more of our tree trunk here for the birch tree. And now we don't just have these 2 kind of forks and then the main trunk. We also have like a third sort of side trunk here that has started to show up. And then the other thing that I found kind of exciting is that, up here you've got a lot of these light tones interspersed that give the effect of the leaves in the tree canopy. But I've now reached a point where you can see that we're getting below the tree canopy and you're seeing through the trees back into sort of the bush and the undergrowth that's in the background behind the tree. So it's just, to me, it's exciting to kind of be getting this element in. The other thing that I've done more of, and it's subtle, but it is quite impactful, is there's a fair bit of backstitching in the tree that kind of gives you, there's the backstitching in the bark of the birch tree. And then you've got some backstitching that kind of outlines a few branches that are meant to show up inside the tree. And so it's nice to kind of having those elements start to show up. And this piece really start taking shape. I'm excited. Oh, one other thing, one other kind of milestone is right around here is sort of the halfway mark as far as the height of the design. So I've now stitched sort of where like get this 25% quadrant. We're at the halfway mark here and the halfway mark there. So it feels like, you know, I'm making good progress and filling in that top quarter of the design pretty well now. So it's coming along. It's really beautiful, and I am enjoying working on this one. All right, that is all for whips, but I do have one new start to show you today. And this is a piece that I'm so excited to finally be working on. This has been kitted up for over a year waiting for me, and I'm delighted to finally have a start on it. So I am stitching, let's see, where did my little clippy clippers go? There they are. So because I had the finish in my seasonal category on the Bittersweet Trio, I wanted to start a new piece, and you can argue this is not really a Valentine's design, but it has hearts on it and it has got pink, and so I'm calling it a Valentine's design. But I have started Joyous Song by Samplers Not Forgotten. This is such a sweet and beautiful little piece. I just love it. This pretty gray house with the peachy pink tones and then the brighter pink and the blue birds. It's just so sweet and so pretty. So I'm really glad to finally be working on this. So here is my start. So I am stitching this on a piece of 36 count cream and sugar linen by Fiber on a Whim, using all the called for flosses. And although it's just the littlest bit of a start, I love this so much. I so enjoyed the time that I got to spend working on it. The flosses just look wonderful on this fabric. Even though, again, there's only 3 colors in it so far, this wonderful soft variegated pink that's got just that little hint of a peach tone to it. You got this nice green in there. It's just, this is going to be so beautiful, and I cannot wait to get back to working on it the next time it comes around in the rotation. This is really going to be pretty. So yeah, small start, but I'm so glad to finally be working on this. Again, this is Joyous Song by Samplers Not Forgotten. All right, that kind of covers it for us today. We don't have a whole lot more to talk about, so we'll just kind of close it out by telling you what we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks, and then let you get on to your next Flosstube video. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to spend one more day working on Cabin Fever, see how much I can get done on that. Really looking forward to it. I am also going to be working on my sampler, which is Faith of the Heart by With Thy Needle and Thread. This is one I made really good progress on the last time it was in my rotation. I think it's probably going to be scant progress this time around. I'm planning to take it with me to the Grand Canyon, but if this vacation goes anything like prior vacations, it probably, if I'm lucky, will get picked up once. We just, you know, when we're on vacation, we're there, we're enjoying the time with our friends, we're staying busy. And so it might get pulled out in the evening while we're sitting around chatting, but it also might not. And so we'll just see. It may not get a whole lot of progress, but I'll be working on that. I'm going to spend a week working on Rose Trellis Inn. You may recall from our last video, that one got pretty shortchanged because I worked on it the week I left for Tanzania, so it only got a couple of days of time. So I'm hoping to get more time on that and get a full, good, solid week on it and see if we can't have some really, you know, clear progress the next time we film an update. And then Gary's of course, going to be trying to work on both of his pieces. We'll see how much progress he gets to make on those, especially with us traveling. I'm also planning a new start on the final Christmas Cheer pin pillow in that chart pack, which is going to be 'Tis the Season. So I'm going to try and start it on our flight to the Grand Canyon. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, that I think does it for us. Thank you again for coming to spend time with us. Thanks so much for all of your comments and your kind remarks. We really appreciate that. We really enjoy interacting with you. If you like our videos, please do give us a thumbs up. It does help us find new viewers and people just like you that hopefully will also enjoy our stitching videos. You are welcome to follow me on Instagram for my periodic updates there, or send me an email to globetrottingstitcher@gmail.com. And you can ring the little bell on YouTube if you would like notifications when we post a new video. Gary, did I forget anything?
Just the action figures that I said I wouldn't speak on anymore.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
But that's okay, because I said I wouldn't speak on them anymore. Anyway, this is Batman and Robin, DC Multiverse, and it's the age-old question. Do you take it out of the box, or do you leave it into the box? We'll find out.
Well, on that happy or that mysterious note, we will look forward to seeing you again soon. So thanks again for your time. Take care. Happy stitching.
Still empty.